Planet Money. NPR's Planet Money let crusty me talk about Venezuelans gold farming and RuneScape to afford their basic necessities. Well, that's not entirely true. They let a bunch of people talk about it, namely...
¿Qué quieres que nosotros te llamamos?
Junior.
Junior is 23 years old. He lives in Portuguesa, Venezuela. He told me he started gold farming in old-school RuneScape 4 years ago.
A bunch of other people too, like even former ModMatt K they talked to for this thing. It was extremely well researched and a long time coming. Of course, the whole thing is very high level because Planet Money's audience is people who've never played the game. But nevertheless, I'm excited about it and I wanted to share it with you. I mean, I wish I could steal the whole thing and collect the AdSense from it, that would be nice, but the link will be in the description and I've only taken a few parts to include here. That's because there's been a little drama caused by this actual podcast. Namely, part of the podcast covers Reign of Terror's involvement in the Revenant Caves, and there's this first little section here that really strokes their ego horse.
And Reign of Terror revels in killing and terrorizing other players. And some of them sell their pillaged gold for real-world money. Within the game, they are the bullies. At some point, Reign of Terror decides to dominate those lucrative caves. They converge at the entrance, and they start charging other players a fee to go in. Basically, pay up or get killed.
So, Rot heard this, and oh man, they could not get enough toilet paper to clean that mess up. Fingers sticking to their keyboard, of course, they paused that shit, hopped right on over to Twitter to update their bios, and bask in the affirmation of their greatness. I mean, look at some of these, they're so excited. Short-lived, though, because once they finished indulging, they started playing the podcast again, hoping, there might be another little gem in there they could quote. And oh boy, were they upset when they heard this.
For a little while there, the Venezuelans are like hired muscle, and they're working for Reign of Terror. But then, they start to realize, wait a minute, these clan bullies, they are paying us a fraction of what we could make in the caves. Let's make our own clan and give these guys a run for their gold.
So they band together under what becomes known as the Venezuelan Mafia. It was like the Latin Americans versus the gringos.
Then, around January of last year, it all culminates in this week-long, non-stop battle. The Venezuelans win the clan battle. They take control of the Revenant Caves. For this brief moment, they are the heroes of old-school RuneScape. Now they can farm gold with impunity and turn that gold into groceries or medicine or whatever it is that they urgently need.
Can't make this stuff up. I mean, if you've been around PK clans, you know they'll gaslight each other about who won what battle. And so when Rot heard on National Public Radio that they lost to the Venezuelan Mafia, they took right back to Twitter to start harassing the reporter of this story, Amanda. And when they had finally added her, or whatever they call it, on Twitter enough, and she responded to them, and well, just check out this image. This is what they had to say, quote, "We stomped them out, hence why they moved to safer activities." It's simply not true. In the end, Rot got beat pretty bad by the Venezuelans. I mean, they controlled certain worlds at certain times still, but the Venezuelans, by far, were outdoing them. Anyways, I thought that was really funny. Now, this whole podcast has been about 2 years in the making, believe it or not. It didn't take them that long to do the actual story, but it was initiated way back then. If you don't know, Planet Money takes viewer requests, and so apparently this guy on Reddit was the one that was really egging them on to do this story. And 2 years ago, Amanda must have got on YouTube, found my video about Venezuelans training accounts for money, and she reached out to me on Twitter, and we did like a whole 1 hour interview type of thing. They were gonna pursue the story, but of course there was a global pandemic, and so that kind of delayed things. And then when Jagex nerfed the Revenant Caves a year later now, and I did my video about that, I decided to send it to her on Twitter, and that kind of kicked things off again. Did another interview, gave her every contact I knew would be good to talk about the situation. She talked to them and then found other people, like she talked to former ModMatt K. I don't know how she knew how to contact him. Apparently he was saying things like, the Venezuelans seem a lot more organized than just individual people playing to make money on the game. Sadly, he doesn't appear in the actual podcast because they never did like a formal recording to put it in because he ended up going on vacation, but he's credited at the end. Really wish that happened because he's giving so much perspective now on the internals of Jagex now that he's left the company, but regardless, I'm excited about it, so I wanted to share it with all of you. There's been a few Reddit posts about it. I made a community post about it. I don't think many people saw it, but from the comments, it seems a lot of people are enjoying it. It's a 21-minute listen. I'll leave it in the description. And by the way, for anybody that pre-ordered a JAD, we've finished them. We're now packing them up and we'll have them down to the post office on August 2nd. At that time, the pre-order sale will end, and we've got a couple extra. Those will go on for sale, and then we'll be doing the next batch for Christmas, so that'll be about November. Anyways, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.